Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Mysterious Galaxies book reviews. I'm your host, Todd, and I hope you're doing well today. I've got my coffee in hand, and I'm excited to participate in my first book tag video. I was nominated to create this video by Ted Red instead, and I think the goal is to learn a little more about booktubers, so hopefully I accomplish it in this video. It's going to be a rather short one, but I think it's going to be fun. This book tag in particular is all about books I own but haven't read yet, and trust me, there are a lot of them. First up, what is a classic book that you've been meaning to read but haven't yet? The first one that comes to mind is The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. I know. It's a masterpiece of military science fiction, and I should have read it years ago at this point. People rave about it. It's sharp, it's poignant, it's supposedly timeless. But I have so many books, something is always on my shelf distracting me from reading it. Maybe 2025 will be the year I finally get it done. What is a book on your shelf that you haven't read yet? I cataloged all of my books earlier this year, and let me tell you, it's an embarrassing number. Just shy of 1,200 books, and I've only read about 21% of them. That's a lot of unread potential. I've been trying to make a dent before buying new books, but let's be honest, it's tough out here, man. If I have to pick one though, let's go with The Ring by Koji Suzuki. It's the horror novel that inspired the movie The Ring, and I hear it's even more creepier than the film. I got into Asian horror a few years back and collected a whole bunch of movies and books, only to not read most of them. What is a book you recently got but haven't read yet? Well, I got a few new ones this year. The one I'll probably read next is Red Rabbit by Alex Gresham. It's been calling my name from the shelf. It's right over there. I've seen it recommended so many times that it's bound to end up in my hands sooner than later, maybe soon. I don't have too much to say about it because I kind of forgot what it's about and I want to enter it blind anyway, so it works out. What is a book you've had forever but haven't read yet? There are too many to count. But here's the thing. Do you ever get so immersed in one genre or subgenre, then when you finally burn out, you don't touch it again for ages? That's me. I'll binge read epic fantasy or cyberpunk and then need a break for like a decade, maybe 5 years. A prime example, Inheritance by Christopher Poloni. I bought it on release day and never read it. I had just finished A Song of Ice and Fire reread in preparation for A Dance with Dragons, and doing so kind of hit my fantasy limit for a while. Maybe I'll revisit the Inheritance cycle on this channel and do a review and discussion for every book in the series. If that's something you're interested, let me know in the comments below, and I'll add it to the list. What is a book recommended by a friend that you haven't read yet? So here's the thing. Most of my friends, they don't read. Pretty much all of my closest friends are from Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and they're not exactly diving into fantasy or sci fi in their spare time. But I do have a friend named Lori. Shout out to her. She recommended Gideon the Ninth by Tasman Muir. It's got necromancers, swords, and gothic vibes, or at least that's kind of what I picked up from the cover. Honestly, I haven't picked it up yet. Sorry, Lori. It's on my list. It's even on my shelf, right down there. You can't see it on camera, but just trust me, it's there. What is the book you've been procrastinating on? Well, I mean, where do I even start? With nearly 1,000 unread books, procrastination is just it's kind of my thing. But if I have to choose one, it's probably A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Believe it or not, it was assigned reading twice, once in undergrads and again in grad school. Somehow I managed to dodge it both times. I really have no excuse for this one. I'm embarrassed, truthfully. And finally, what's the next book on your TBR? I guess this one's kind of an easy one. It's gonna most likely be Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. I've reviewed every book in the First Law universe so far, and it only makes sense to keep the momentum going. Expect a deep dive soon. Spoiler free, of course. Fingers crossed that it maintains the same writing I've come to love from the original trilogy. So, there you have it. My confessions of unread books. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these or if there's a book on your shelf that's been gathering dust for far too long. And as always, keep reading, take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon.